Yeah, it seems fine now. Thankfully, I'm pretty damn close to 2 different Twitch servers. So it should be stable. Yeah, we haven't dropped any frames. So I think it's, I think it was just a problem on Twitch's side. If I'd known that, I would have tried a different server first. But usually it's my internet, not their fault. Had to do several refreshes? Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Let's go ahead and get this test flight underway. Am I clipping into my fairing with my lights? No, but I'm only barely clearing those. I am gonna have to watch out for the fairing actually, like, hitting any of that stuff. That'd be bad. Shit do happen. That's true. I'm gonna just restore our camera to the command pod. And it looks like we've kind of shimmied our way over on the launch pad a little bit while I was waiting there. I think just for safety, let's just revert to launch. And then we'll try out our test flight. Then we'll put our fucking Taurus up, and we'll take a couple of photos of some planets and hopefully some moons too. Get a little bit more science. And then the other project that I wanted to get done today, that I'm hoping that we'll have time for, is building a Hubble and putting up in a different kind of telescope. So still no passengers, throttle up, SAS enabled. Let's get all of our DV info and maneuver node info up. Lights on, 3, 2, 1, go! So I wanted to burn a little bit more of our fuel off this time, and I'm gonna go for it. Get us into a bit of a gravity roll. Okay, and I think we're going fast enough now that we can go ahead and cut the engine. I burned off maybe 20-25% of our fuel, just to give us a little bit better of a thrust-to-weight ratio later on when we separate from all of our boosters, because we do throttle up to full when we separate from this first set of 4. AP is already past 30. I'm digging that. We're almost out of fuel, so let's stabilize at about a 55-degree angle and do our stage. Please don't collide with each other or me. Okay, so they look pretty good. We're going to throttle back up at a 1.65 thrust-to-weight ratio now. Ooh, I did lose a lot of control surfaces. I almost did a somersault there. I nosed down a little bit too aggressively. Let's get our orbit prograde up so that we can see how efficient we're being. The closer we are to the center of prograde during a launch, the more efficient we are. And usually I trade some of that efficiency just for a fairly easy to remember and follow launch profile. Nice, Carthax. Good luck, man. Have a great stream. Welcome back, Gan. Sorry about that, guys. I changed Twitch servers and it seems to be working. It could have been that. It could have been my internet too. I cycled the internet. I restarted the streaming computer. So could have been any of those things. Let's go ahead and get rid of our payload fairing as well. Bye, payload fairing. AP is at 78. Go ahead and nose down a little bit more. Actual altitude approaching 65 kilometers. Everything looking fantastic so far. Digging it. Alright, and we're almost to our 85k target AP. Well, our final target would be 90. So I want to be laying down a horizontal by the time we're at about 85. And our maximum acceptable apoapsis would be 100 kilometers. Because anything higher than that, we haven't tested for re-entry from that height at all. And we're not being paid to get them up to that altitude, so I don't want to. Sometimes we have a mission that wants 90 kilometers. Most of them want 85, anything above 85, so anything in an actual orbit. But some of them do have upper atmosphere altitude plus 5k, so 90 is generally where I target during the build portion. 38 seconds until we reach AP. Go ahead and separate from that guy. That part was fully recoverable before without any issues. Still not sure why I have a second stage there. Why I have to stage that twice before I actually ignite this engine. I do not know. And I ran into an issue on the previous launch, which also contributed to me only having 100 meters a second of DV left over, where I didn't nose up quite soon enough. So now that we're about 10 seconds away from AP, I'm going to start to nose up. And I think it was somewhere around 25 degrees until we burn off a little bit of fuel and get a little bit closer to our orbital velocity. Yeah, right about 25 degrees for maintaining altitude, and then the rest of our thrust is working on that target orbital velocity. And then I'll just slowly nose down from 25 degrees, and just to keep that between 5 seconds and 10 seconds away from us. Start to apply more of our specific impulse to horizontal velocity rather than maintaining altitude. Your chat's half broken right now? Oh no, I hope mine's not. I always leave 3 up. I have the Streamlabs chatbot, this guy. So I always leave that up, and then I do a pop-out chat off of the dashboard, and then on my other computer, on another monitor, I have the OBS chat up. And I try to keep an eye on all 3 because it's kind of funny how often you'll get a message that only comes in on one but not the other 2. On a good day, it's all coming up on all 3 of them. Right now it looks like my chatbot needs to reconnect. Oh, your chair is half broken. Oh no. Do you have any replacements in mind? I went with an AK Racing gaming chair and I love it. I thought you said your chat was half broken. Just trying to pay attention to the launch and read. I can't do both. Don't have the skill set. So I should have just circularized with an additional burn, but we have 587 meters a second of additional delta V. Not too worried about it. Let's go ahead and do one last re-entry test real quick. We're not going to let it set all the way down on the ground. I just want to see how these air brakes do. And I don't think I need to activate them. I don't remember having to activate them. Oh, I guess I do. I need to activate them for pitch and yaw. So I think I'll set that up to an action group. Might even set it up with staging too. So it's kind of a nasty orbit, but it's good enough. Let's go ahead and make a maneuver node. And this time I want to test it for just a normal re-entry and see how she does. So we'll go just slightly aggressive. Rather than coming in at 30 kilometers, we'll come in at 45. Typically we would come in at 50 or 55 if we had passengers on board. And then same deal as last time, I just want to position the maneuver node so that we just barely overshoot the launch pad, and then we'll use monopropellant to dial that in and see how accurate it's going to actually be. But initially I do want to overshoot, because we do have some maneuvers that we're going to perform with this. Okay. We're about 28 minutes away from the maneuver node. So we'll just go ahead and time warp to about a minute away from it, and then we'll have our pilot assume a retrograde. Do our separation, do our spin. Well, do our spin first, then our separation. And then we'll see if these air brakes keep it from being pushed aside quite so badly. Hopefully they will. I think they'll help a lot, actually. We still might be pushed aside, but I don't think it'll be anywhere near as dramatic as it was before. Okay, let's get rid of our maneuver node, and we're just going to eyeball it. Alright, everything went fine there. RCS back on, but SAS off. Get us into a spin. Yeah, it's pretty damn nimble now with the minor change that we made to the nozzles. I didn't notice that that one was still... It looks like it's still clipping into the bottom of that air brake, but that one's not. Huh. So I might change that. Go ahead and separate from the maneuvering stage. Continue our spin, though. Suppose I'll rotate us around as well, because I want the belly pointed toward the ground. Look at that big ol' heat shield. Okay, air brakes are totally active right now, so we should be good. We'll just time warp. Oh, shit. Better just double check. I think I'm gonna leave it the way that it is. Even if we do fall short, I feel like this was far more accurate last time than it was a couple of days ago before I updated it. And I don't know why that would be if all he did was a recompile. Oh, I also forgot to throw all my chutes into an independent stage so that they're activated. I want them active while we're still in orbit. There we go. Should overshoot just a little bit because the air brakes should change our trajectory's projection there. Yeah, fuck it. Let's go ahead and just vent forward. We're in the upper atmosphere, so they're not going to have a whole lot of effect, but they will have enough of an effect. We're going to speed up just a little bit more so that we overshoot just a little bit further. I don't have any backwards, so I think that's all I'm going to do. I don't have any nozzles that face this way, so I can't slow down with them, unfortunately. So I don't want to overdo it. We'll go back into time warp here. I'm going to leave RCS and SAS enabled. We should start to see these extend when air resistance overcomes the gyroscopic control that we have here, our reaction wheels, then these guys should start to pitch in. Hopefully. Maybe. So we're down to about 70 kilometers. We should start to see atmospheric re-entry effects soon, and then I'll take it out of physics warp. Yeah, still not dropping any frames. Sorry about that, though. It sucks. Okay, I just want to take it out of time warp here so that there's no, like, errors that are influencing the physics calculations that the game is making. Maybe a little bit. Maybe a wee bit of time warp, eh? Look at that tail. Damn! I can't even see the air surfaces unless I zoom out so that the atmosphere, or so that the re-entry effects are gone. Oh, that emote's awesome. Fire speed. We're starting to veer off of retrograde just a little bit. But I haven't seen any of these try to deploy yet. I think that means that they're active. I hope so. Yeah, okay, they are. I think anyway. If I deactivate them, shit. I guess I don't know. Oh, okay, yeah. What I was doing is just using WASD to try to influence the direction of the vessel just to see if they would work. So it's trying to pitch us in. And we've got this slowly extending to give us a just slightly larger surface area on the side that it's... because it's trying to kick the heat shield underneath us and force us into a somersault. And so hopefully that will be able to compensate for all of that. Nope. Not for all of it anyway. It's a little bit of a bummer, but we're down almost at 2 kilometers a second. So I think we'll be just fine. It does make me a little nervous to put Taurus on this, though, since that was a 50-kilometer re-entry. Unless I go and put on larger air brakes. It'd definitely be better for me to put them down here, too. So that they're further out. They're just not in a very efficient spot. So maybe we'll try that. There goes the drogue. We don't need to worry about venting or anything anymore, so I'm going to deactivate RCS and SAS since we no longer vent. We just eject the monopropellant can. Bye, can. That's okay, we have air conditioning. They'll be fine. Yeah, we could do a full deployment if we use the brake toggle. But what I'm doing is using them as active control surfaces. So that way they're not just out all the time. Yeah, we still overshot just a little bit. So if we try to pinpoint that, I think it's going to be really accurate now. I like that. Okay, well, I don't think that we need to set all the way down. I don't think that we added enough weight to the front to matter. And I do want to see how it sets down on a hard surface, but we are going to hit the ocean here. So I'm just going to go down to full deployment of the chutes, and then we'll go and load her up with some passengers. I think it's close enough. I just want to see if we still have our nose right on the horizon when we get a full parachute deployment and have our full canopy. Oh no, what's it doing, Carthax? It's a little bit further down now that we have the air brakes on there, but I don't think that's going to matter. And I do think that I'll end up repositioning them. Only problem is the drogue chute is going to have to be relocated, and that will affect our balance a little bit if I move the control surfaces up onto this and these. So maybe one more test flight. Just for re-entry, though. We can speed through the rest of it. I want to see if I can put those control surfaces on the cargo, or on the crew thingy things. Randomly stopping loading mods? Which one is it stopping at? Or is it delaying on multiple? Because you're probably just missing a prereq. I do want these balanced, so I think I want to attach them to this, even though I'm going to move them. And let's see if we can relocate them up to here. And how they look. Oh yeah, that looks perfect. I like that a lot, actually. Only problem that we're gonna have, though, this little drogue chute has to go somewhere else. Maybe not too far, though. I don't know if that's far enough. See how it does with them down there. Yes, yeah, we're using USI life support. At the moment, anyway. I might switch it out for snacks. They sure shit eat a lot. I've never actually tried snacks. No passengers for this one, yet again. That's true. There's Kerbalism. It's quite a bit more than just a life support, though. Which is the only thing that really makes me hesitate. I used it a long time ago. When it was fairly new, like in 0.24 or 0.18 or something like that in beta. And it kicked my ass. I poofed so many curveballs. Radiation, man. It's like every time I tried to do an EVA, someone would die. Alright, throttle cut. We're gonna speed through this one, since we're fairly confident about the lifter and everything else. It's just really coming down to a question of re-entry. Ooh, separation's getting a little wonky there sometimes. I don't know how I feel about that. Thank you for the follow, chap in Canada. Welcome. I totally forgot to throttle up. Guess I was trying to save some fuel or something. Whoops. Yeah, and I really don't understand why I have to stage this engine twice. I don't get it. Oh, I need to move those damn parachutes down, too. I don't know, is there such a thing as too many mods? I don't think so. I don't think there is for me, anyway. I guess there is a point where your loading time takes longer than your playing time. Maybe that's too many mods. Bye-bye, boosters. That leaves us at 1.6 on our thrust-to-weight ratio. We're going to further improve that by getting rid of a little bit of excess weight in the form of that fairing. Get rid of that. I know a lot of people that don't play with any mods at all, but I'm not one of them. There's not a whole lot of games that I don't play with mods if they're available. Depends on what they're adding, though. Like, some games are moddable, but only in, like, scripting. And, I don't know, like, sometimes there's stuff that I just totally skip, but... yeah, I don't understand it either. If you really want to be a hardcore stock purist, then I better not see you playing with DLC either. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I don't understand the people that, like, it upsets them that other people play with mods. It's a single-player game. Get the fuck over it. Everybody should play it however the hell they want. Alright, so we're about 25 seconds from AP. Go ahead and stage that. Kick on our engine twice, because... reasons. Get a little bit closer to AP. And then just maintain altitude. Nose up, nose up, nose up. 2 seconds from AP. 1 second. Oh shit. Am I gonna go past it? I might go past it. Nope, we're good. But I did have to go up to a 30-degree angle, and now we'll start to nose back down. TWR is 0.81. We're at 30 degrees right now. We're at 88 kilometers of actual altitude. 3 kilometers a second total speed. Oh, you're diving into STO? Sanjo, have you tried EVE Online? JSON pointed out that they're doing some sort of an NPC alien invasion in EVE Online, and for the most part, everybody that I know that plays EVE Online has moved on and isn't really playing anymore, so I was really curious about what's going on, but not curious. I wanted, like, from a viewer perspective, what's going on, not the CCP propaganda stuff that you can, you know, read in their news articles and commercials and all that. Became more fun to read about it than play it? Aw. I'm amazed at how gorgeous that game got. I haven't played in 9 years. And, friend of the stream, Winter, plays EVE. And that's who I probably need to go and host tonight and hit her up to see what she thinks. I don't know if she's still playing EVE. She's probably our best shot at finding somebody who is, though. Not too bad of an orbit, 90 and 88. Still hovering around 500 meters a second of excess delta V, so we're looking perfect there. We just want to speed through this real quick. I don't really give a shit where we land, but I do want to fiddle with this a bit. With trajectories. We're going to re-enter at just over 50. And I want to put my node, even though we're just using it to kind of eyeball it, I want to put it, you know, pretty much right on it. And I'm going to aim directly for it this time. Perpetuum is a MechWarrior style EVE-like game, huh? I haven't seen that one. Discovery Starfleet from the show Dominion. I don't think I've seen Discovery. Definitely remember Dominion. The original series, yes. TOS. The original series. Romulans, Klingons, or Starfleet. That is kind of a toughie. When I played, I went Starfleet. And I did have a lot of fun with it. Eventually, it kind of got annoying dealing with the Borg on missions. Oops, what am I doing? This will eventually be retrograde. I was going to get us into a spin already. Don't need a spin. Just need to realign. And then we'll time warp around. Do our burn. See how it goes with the reposition of the air brakes. I think they're going to be a hell of a lot more efficient now that they're further out. I'm okay with this being turned to the side as long as we're going fairly slow. Like last time was good enough, but I want to see if they'll do better out here. That would be fantastic if we could get it to where it doesn't do it at all. A mod for the... not unless it's real plume. It's probably the... I think these are part of Restock. The tri-directional RCS blocks that we're using. It's probably the mod that added the block itself. Oh, so do you remember that problem with the Tarsier telescope where it bursts backwards? Do you have any idea how to fix that? because I'm still having a problem with it, so I've been just deactivating them. It's not a big deal. I only launch 1 or 2 per playthrough, and it's no big deal to just deactivate them, but I can't remember, and I thought that maybe it was Doc that was having the same problem that I was, and I thought that we found a solution, but for the life of me, I can't fucking remember what it was. I think that the nozzles that we're using are part of restock. Could be wrong. And you already use mandatory RCS and RO and RSS and all the stuff that you play, don't you? Close enough. Let's go ahead and get our spin on. Helps a lot if I remember to disable SAS, which is going to cancel the spin out. Okay, so I do have the air brakes already active and everything. Let's go ahead and just double check. Okay, I want to burst forward. Just gonna try to get right on there. We'll see how well we do. One of these days, I'm gonna remember to put all these parachutes into another stage. Apparently it won't be today. Alright, there's upper atmo. Holding retrograde, no problem. I'm already seeing them more being more active, but we're also in physics warp, so that may have had something to do with it. Pretty confident these are going to be kind of awesome. What I'm mostly hoping is, since now they're so far out, since they're not ablative, or ablative air brakes, I am a little bit worried that they'll overheat and explode, and that would be no good. That would in fact be bad. Good morning, Eraser. How's your Sunday going? Sweet. Did you decide to do stock, or are you going to do it with mods? Alright, we're down to about 70 kilometers. Still at 4 times physics warp. Till I see a reason not to be. Few mods, not all of them. I have like, I kind of go one way or the other. There's like 3 mods that I always use, or I go with like 100. Call it super stock. That's as close to stock as I feel like getting most of the time. At the moment, we're working on a 14-passenger tourist vessel, and we're doing our final re-entry and safety tests. We're re-entering at the altitude that we would actually deorbit with our passengers on board. And then we're going to put those guys up. We have a Hubble telescope that I would like to launch today. Well, build and launch. And then we have a space telescope that we need to take some photographs with. So those are our main missions of the day. We're going to put the tourists up so that we can make some money, because we like money. And then we'll go and do all the fun stuff, get those photos and everything. Take a look at 2 of the other planets that we've never actually seen before. Get a little glimpse of their moons. Hopefully they'll be on the side of the sun so that they're illuminated and we can actually see features, but we don't have a deep space telescope yet. And I do want to try to track any of the other ones. Been fine. Oh, I can give a shout now. Kinda up to them what they watch. And as much as I do like to promote every streamer, diverting viewership is kinda a little iffy, you know? Since I'm in the middle of streaming and whatnot. But I do encourage everybody to give you a follow, if nothing else. And then they'll get your go live notification when you do. Alright, we're out of time warp. We're really starting to slow down now. We're down to about 52 kilometers, which isn't looking too bad. Oh, I guess my bot's not working. Little shit. Connect. Am I gonna have to restart you? I don't even know how to connect. If it disconnects when my internet goes out. There we go, it's alive. Yeah, I mean, that top air brake does already look like it's doing work. And the side ones are contributing a little bit more this time too. But will we be able to maintain complete control through the entire descent? I doubt it, because of the size of the heat shield. I think we need far more of these air brakes to truly compensate for the total size of that heat shield, honestly. And since they're not ablative, I don't want to overdo it and fully deploy them right away. I want as little bit of these exposed to the heat as necessary. But we're looking to get down to about 2 kilometers a second before we do get pushed over to the side. And then I think we're doing well enough. We're still staying within retrograde, within our little marker, so we're about 5 degrees at an angle from where we actually want to be. But I think here, now that we're fully deployed on the air brake, is where we're gonna tip. And we're going about 2,200 meters a second, which is more than I wanted, but it's really not that bad. Alrighty, Carthex. Have a great stream, man. See you again shortly. I don't know why we decided to stay at this angle. But we are losing a hell of a lot of speed. I think we're going to be just fine. We should see our drogue chute deploying soon. And I think it went really well. I definitely need to overshoot now that we're using active control surfaces on descent, though. We'll go ahead and turn both of those off. Separate from that little guy. Break our necks with full deployment. Oh yeah, 10 Gs. Oh, thought I might have seen some flex there, but it could have maybe been the control surface. And I wasn't gonna touch all the way down, but we are actually over solid ground this time, so I do wanna just make sure that these aren't mainly that they're not like flexing. Like if we can definitely notice one of these like popping away from the fairing, then I know that my docking ports that are inside there aren't doing their job. But once we touch down, I also want to make sure that it's not like vibrating, that it's not still trying to move independently of the rest of the vessel. That was the heat shield there. Moving those up into the center did kind of realign us so that we're almost perfectly horizontal again. Actually, yeah, I couldn't ask for better, really. I think we are totally go for our tourist mission. The only things that were getting like really hot were the air brakes, and that can be expected. Yeah, and even when we set down, we do have enough weight on the back of the vessel that we're not like sagging the front or anything like that. I don't see these like shimmying around or anything like that. Sitting on the ground with all the weight of the rest of the vessel on them. So I think we're good. Last revert, back into the VAB because one of the contracts that I have won't, I can't automatically load that passenger in on the pad. All of the contracts that we've taken for the actual tourism contract pack can be loaded in on the pad, but I think that's the only one that lets me do it, so. We have Mr. Gorm, Lost Mage, the Angry Hulk. Mr. Gorm and the Angry Hulk are both Kerbal Space Program streamers. Cash Bear, which I'm assuming is a bot of some kind. These guys... Oh, and Phantom, that would be a viewer. Lost Mage is a viewer. Cash Bear, I don't know, could be a viewer, but... just judging by the name, it sounds like one of those information chatbot things. Intrepid Defiance, haven't seen him in a long time. That guy is definitely a bot. Electrical Longboard is in like every fucking stream that I've ever been into. And the Gent 09 would be another viewer. And then Didard and Carol, I think, are just randomly generated Kerbal names. Load them all up. We have one empty seat, but since we're just going into a low orbit, none of our current crew will actually gain any experience from going along with it, so we'll just leave it open. Oh, nice. Enjoy your lurk, Ingrid. We are ready to rock. Let's get these guys up into space. Then we're going to go have some fun with some telescopes. Actually, I'll leave it up to you guys. What should we do? Should we go have a little bit of fun with telescopes, or should we build an additional telescope, not scopes, and then go and take a shitload of pictures with two different kinds of telescopes? Ellie, thank you for the resub again. Good to see you again. How have you been? SAS on, lighting on, throttle up to full. We could also turn on our RCS, but it won't really do us much good down here. We do have spare though, so it wouldn't hurt to turn it on. Yeah, let's go for it. It won't actually work inside the fairing. Who knows? Maybe it'll be handy. we'll lose a little bit of weight on the ascent. Let's go ahead and get all of this up. I totally forgot the parachutes again. I want all these flippin' parachutes. Is that the right ones? That's not the right ones, I don't think. Just gonna put those into the same stage. Yeah, these all need to go into here. I want all the parachutes in this stage where we separate from the travel stage. I want them active up in space so that they deploy immediately as soon as it's safe enough for them to do so. That stage can go. Someday I'll fix that, but like I said, won't be today apparently. Alright, let's get maneuver mode on. 3, 2, 1, go. But falling asleep to my streams. Actually, have you met Reed? Reed's got the snorkel emote, and I love it. He hosts a pretty damn chill stream, plus smooth jazz. So very appropriate emote. The snorkel. Congratulations on starting working though. Hope that that's all going well. Making that money. I'm gonna put us off at a little bit of an angle. I think it burned way more than enough fuel. Let's go ahead and throttle all the way down. Still at a thrust to weight ratio of 1.85, even with the throttle all the way down. I'm going to nose down a little bit more as well. I want to get down to, I think, about 55 degrees by the time I stage these heavy lifters. I think that's what I was doing before. I'm trying to stick to the same thing that we were doing on all the previous launches. Now that we got peoples on board. Okay, no collisions, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Actually, that was one of our best separations so far. They actually kind of minded their own business there. Let's go ahead and throttle all the way back up. We are 1 minute from AP. Apoapsis is just past, well, it's almost past 50. We're at 32 kilometers actual altitude. So I'm going to lean us over somewhat dramatically here. All used up when you get home? Those are some of the best jobs, though. It's the ones that are, like, super stressful that keep you up at night. That shit wears on you. It's nice to get a hard day's work in and go home and just fucking pass out. The mentally demanding jobs that I've had were some of the worst, actually. Especially with a commute involved. Get home and just kind of stare at the wall for a while. Take some sleeping pills and go to bed. Alright. Second solid rocket booster separation. And also our fairing. Go ahead and expose our Taurus. Give him a bit of a view here. We hide all of the things that are happening before that point from them, so that they actually cut us a check. And we'll go ahead and lay down horizontal. I would have liked to have done that a little bit more gradually, but I just noticed that our AP is already at 85. Construction with soil and concrete. Oh, yeah. Yeah, even if you're driving a machine, you're still out in the weather. What part of the world are you in? How's the weather out where you are? It's been hotter than hell everywhere, and I'm finally getting a little bit of it too. When Dev left for work at like 4 o'clock this morning, it was about 80 degrees in the house. At 4 in the morning, the hell is that shit? So we're hitting the upper 90s. Not doing as bad as like France or those poor guys down in Arizona. Even southern Utah is getting a hell of a lot more heat than I am. But you still feel it, right? Alright, get rid of that guy. Throttle on up. 32 seconds from AP this time. Previously, on all of our previous launches, we were about 10 seconds or 15 seconds away from AP. So I didn't put as much of our DV into orbital velocity. I could have done a much better gravity turn, because we should be a little bit closer to AP by the time we stage. But that's okay, we'll just lay horizontal. Hopefully we'll be able to compensate for it. We do have 500 meters a second of excess delta V, and then we'll go ahead and pick our nose up. We're at 88 kilometers right now, so we are out in space by almost 5 kilometers above the atmosphere. And we know that we hope anyway, that we know we can go to a 25 degree and maintain altitude. Hopefully that remains consistent, and it looks like it is. We've also lost some weight because I left the monopropellant nozzles running. They didn't really do a hell of a lot, but we have a lot of monopropellant. We have way more than we need, so it's fine. We'll continue to burst them as we head back down to horizontal. I'm going to delay here at about 5 degrees. You're in Denmark and it's hot as fuck. Doh. Don't worry though, man. Our glorious leader here in the States has told us that global warming is a myth, so it's just a fluke. Bunch of horse shit. Getting pretty damn close. We're at 3.6 kilometers a second of actual speed. Very, very close to our orbital velocity. We have 850 meters a second of DV, and for some reason rising. I don't know what the hell that's about. Yeah, we're just imagining it. The rising oceans, the disappearance of tropical island nations. That's just, you know, figments. It's not real. Don't worry about it. We definitely don't need to change any kind of policies. Okay, I'm done. Sorry. So, pretty good on the circularization. I do need to check over our contracts again, because if one of our contracts for any of these tourists requires, like this one, very first one that we look at, requires us to actually be above 90. We're 89.94. So, I'm just gonna delay until we get about to AP. And I don't need any more information than our time to AP, so I guess I won't even put in a node. And I think we can actually circularize with just monopropellant. Let's go ahead and hold prograde as we come around to AP in about 12 minutes of curve all time. How much monoprop do we have? Oh yeah, we have a shitload. We have tons. I just need to kick up PE hair, so I'm just waiting until we get pretty close to AP, and then I'm just going to burst forward with our monopropellant. And that should start our timer. There we go. We're circular at 91.32 and 91.09, so pretty damn circular. Not bad at all. Let's go through and just double check to make sure that nobody threw a wrench into the works and wants to be in an orbit above 95 or something crazy. Nope, it looks like we're good to go. So we'll go down to Kerbal Alarm Clock. We're going to add a new alarm. We just want a raw time alarm, and we want that alarm for 1 hour. It's okay if it's 1 hour and 10 minutes, as long as our 1 hour countdown for the actual contracts is completed by the time it goes off, so we'll just add that. We can delay that if we need to, if something else is going to interfere with it, but I think it'll be fine. And we'll just leave these dudes up here to enjoy their trip. Some of them just paid to come up into orbit and go right back down, so they get a free hour, but we're okay with that. as long as it only takes us one launch to get them up there. First, I want to go over to our instrumental one. The new DLC's okay. Honestly, take it or leave it. Like, I think that the new DLC, if you're not one of the stock purists that refuses to play with anything that's made by someone other than Squad, I think that those are the only people that really benefited from most of the things in the new DLC. I like the new terrain scatters. That's about it. Otherwise, I mean, I don't really give a shit if the terrain scatters are something that I can perform an experiment on or not, and I don't see any real benefit to the way that they've done their robotics versus the way that Infernal Robotics did their robotics. So, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't, like, pressure anybody into buying it. I would never, it's not the kind of DLC where I'm like, you have to own this or you suck at life, you know? Like, it's good. But is it exceptional? In the end, I can't complain. I bought the game in alpha. So, I get all the DLCs that they come out with for free. So it doesn't really matter to me. Since I use a lot of mods, the biggest downside to the new DLC is that it made a lot of previous mods incompatible. And they're having to find some wacky-ass workarounds so that you can use their mods again. Kerbal inventory, Kerbal attachment system. There's no reason for surface experiment packs to exist anymore because they've completely ripped off the idea from the mod. You know, that kind of a thing. So, I don't know. There's upsides to it, there's downsides to it. In the end, I would have rather seen them expand on the stock solar system. Or, you know, I don't know, like, I like that they redid all the parts. I think that was a great way to go. I would have paid money for that if I didn't get all the DLCs for free. But like the previous, like what was the previous one? Making History was the previous one, right? Adding in asteroids, you know, that was a big step. That was awesome. That took something that very few mods had even really touched on and put it into the game. That was great. Made him a part of the stock game. Like, I don't know. I wish that they had added more things that weren't already mods. Is all I'm really trying to say. I guess. I didn't realize that this thing was still turned on. Turn that off. Enable SAS and we'll stabilize here. I want to get us lined up on the 90 line. This is a little telescope that we can't actually look through. It just tries to ping orbital bodies. So we're going to see if we can get any hits on any new orbital bodies that we hadn't already got a ping on. And then we'll go over and take photographs of them. We have 2 that we didn't take photographs of yesterday. So I'm hoping that we can get more. So I'm going to put it into a bit of a spin, just on the 90 line. It's just the easiest and most monopropellant efficient way for us to do it. Let's open up our GUI here. And all this little thing does is try to ping new shit. I do kind of have to keep an eye on our electric charge too, so let's get that up. We're getting faint signals off that way. A lot of faint signals off that way. There's upgrades that we'll get to this that'll make it more sensitive and increase its range. We just don't have them right now. We may have actually pinged everything that we can. But I want to put it into a slow spin like this and see if we can find anything from 4 different points in our orbit. So nothing new going on there. Once we're pointed at the horizon, we'll stop even trying. Right about there. A little further. Okay, and I think we're at just about noontime. We're just past the middle of the day there. So let's go over to dusk. Then we'll try another set at midnight and another set in the morning. And I'm just going to let it spin, even though it's not going to be as efficient at recharging its batteries if I do that. It's just less monoprop that we have to invest later. Overdid it a little bit, but that's okay. And hopefully it'll have enough time to recharge. I'll get the solar panels exposed to the sun before we are actually eclipsed by the homeworld there. Try to charge our batteries up as far as we can. And then we'll get some more... Well, we'll try to get some pings at about midnight, just past midnight. We're using JNSQ, so the solar system that we're in is fucking massive. So I'm not too surprised that we weren't able to ping, like, everything. And we could send one of these out into a solar orbit. But I think I want to wait until we get all of our upgrades before we do. Because there's not much point in sending something out into space into a solar orbit for like 3 years, when more than likely we're going to have a more powerful version that that can go up and ping most of the stuff in the outer solar system before that thing even gets far enough out to do any good. Alright, so no hits there. Let's go ahead and turn on SAS and RCS. I'm going to point directly upward, and I'm going to pivot around so that our belly is exposed to the sun. Now we've got both of these extended solar panels and all of these solar panels charging up our battery before we're totally eclipsed. Hurt furry. Perfect. And we still do have line of sight, so before we're out of line of sight, let's get lined back up on the 270 or the 90 line. And then we just got to start into our spin. Actually, I could start into the spin right now too, couldn't I? Time warp us around a little bit. Hopefully our battery lasts. Ooh. Kind of veering off that 90 line a bit dramatically. It's a little bit better. I'm going to wait to come around to where the camera is pointed just at the horizon, and then we'll start doing more pictures. Let's see if I can get lined up on this while we're at it. Now, mandatory RCS does nerf the reaction wheels on everything that we had, which is why we're using so much monopropellant to do such a simple thing. But I wonder if it also equally nerfs the electric, or if it would be a better idea for us to go and just disable them if we wanted to conserve electric on a vehicle. Because I do see a little bit of a spike. Oh no, actually it's remaining constant, so maybe it does. I don't know. I hadn't really considered it before. I'm gonna have to wait for it to go around again. I want to get lined up on this line really well. Not too bad. Close enough. See if we can get anything here. So next week is going to be kind of a short week. It'll be the 4th of July next week. So we're going to have split days off. We'll have our normal weekend, which is Monday and Tuesday. We'll stream on Wednesday, and then we'll be off on the 4th. Well, we'll be off Thursday. That's the day that Deb got off for the holiday. And then we'll be back on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I was kind of thinking next week we might do Path of Exile and see how that goes. I was gonna do like 2 days of KSP this week and then do some Path of Exile. Which is kind of like a top-down RPG. Pretty neat game. And I totally forgot about it. I played it a long time ago. But apparently I already owned the first one. I picked up the second one on the Steam sale and all the DLC for it and everything. And I was told that I need to play the first one all the way through first. And then we can, like, import our characters and everything. So I figured we'll try it out on stream. See how it goes. We're not getting any hits on this damn thing. One more spot that I want to try. Right here past morning. Yeah, Pillars of... No. Path of... Not Path of Exile. Yeah, Pillars of Eternity. That's the one. God damn it. I should just call it PoE and make everybody wonder. They're like, what the fuck storyline is there in Path of Exile? I don't know what you're talking about. I just can't get my brain wrapped around both games being PoE. Or I just gotta wait until Paula's on so that she can correct me. She'll keep you guys up to date. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, apparently. Alright, one last little go around here. We're spinning a little bit faster than we were before, but I think that's fine. Yeah, just PoE. The one that has storyline, not the other one. Here, dude. Oh, I'm sorry. Should never assume. Yeah, we're not getting anything on this, so we'll switch over to our other telescope. Yeah, I thought Isley was a man for almost a year. Because, I mean, no way to know him. Best not to assume, though, right? So we're going to switch over to the Space Telescope. And we've already taken a lot of photos yesterday. We're only taking 2 photos of everything. Yes, sir. I know. Who knew? This is a much more advanced telescope. Also serving as a redundant relay satellite right now. This one we can actually look through. And if I'm not mistaken, we started here, then we took photos there, then we did the 2 inner planets that we got a hit on, then we took a photo of Jewel over here, I'm pretty sure that was Jewel, which just leaves these 2 that we haven't taken a look at. Go ahead and turn that to large. We're going to tell our computer to rotate us around to point at the target, and we are controlling it from the telescope itself. Which is why I went and restructured this. We had a different version of this, it was much smaller, but this one is a hell of a lot more stable. I like it. Yeah, and I still have no idea what the hell the ping is. There's that little beep when we switch over to this vessel. No fucking clue what is doing that. Because this has, overall, the exact same parts that we had before. Like, I wouldn't think it'd be the solar panels, but the solar panels are almost the only part that we have on this that's different than what we had before. We have a different kind of probe core, but we had the same 2 Omni antennas. We had the same high gain antennas on previous vessels. We've had the capacitors on different vessels, the monopropellant nozzles, the radial tanks wouldn't do it. The truss piece that we're using for monopropellant and battery storage right in the middle here, the like main structural piece of the probe, is new. The QBE, I guess we haven't actually used it before on anything, but it's a stock probe, I'm pretty sure. The Probodyne QBE probe core. The only, like, my most likely suspect is the SSTU solar panels. Because I don't remember if we've used those on anything else. But I have no idea what the fuck that beep is. Alright, let's see if it's stabilized. Go ahead and zoom on in. Oh yeah, right on the money. Unfortunately, we're looking at the dark side almost completely, but this is our first actual look at Duna, the remade Duna from JNSQ. So we'll go ahead and take our 2 photographs that we can transmit back. Let's zoom out just a little bit. We are lined up parallel with the 90-degree line, so I want to start to pan out, and we're looking for any little glimmers. We're just on the hunt for a moon. Okay, I don't see one out to the right. Let's go ahead and recenter. Oh, I see one out to the left. Just the one, though, so far. And we'll get a couple of photographs of that guy, too. Little Ike. So that's about half of the science for everything that we've taken a photograph of. We get, I think we get 12 total, transmitting those back home. And I don't think there's going to be anything else. Nope, just the sun. So let's go ahead and recenter this. We're going to just close the camera, and we'll get the probe moving around to our final ping that we had over here. This is a mod called Research Bodies. It hides everything from us. We start out only knowing where the sun is and where our moons are. We use that first telescope that we switched to, the smaller one, to get unknown objects. And then we take photographs of those objects with our space telescopes. Or you can also use the observatory, but it costs money. So I prefer to do it kind of the harder way. Plus it takes less time to take the photos. If you use the observatory, they scan the skies and you get a random ping on something after, I think they're 90-day contracts. So it's faster for us to just use our telescope usually, where we can get multiple pings instead of one after 90 days. So we have that back open. Go ahead and zoom in. What do we got? What's our last one here? Can't tell just by looking at it. Let's take our photo. We are looking at Drez. Okay. Go ahead and take 2, send them on home. Zoom out a bit. Anything to ear? No, I'm in a nose kind of mood, I guess. Just kidding. Not really. Burger sounds good, but it's not very diet friendly, is it? Should we just do chicken again? Oh, nope, no fixing it now. You totally meant anything to ear. And now we all know. Uh-oh, I lost it. I can't find the damn planet. Okay. That's okay. We'll close the camera and open it back up. Lettuce wrapped? We could do lettuce wrapped. I think I'd like to try the lettuce wrap sandwiches, or lettuce wrap burgers from somewhere else though. Because that was just a mess fest. I'm sure that they'll be messy no matter where we get them from, but that was fucking terrible. I felt like I wore more of that than I ate. I'm not seeing any damn moons. That sucks. Ding! 8-month streak. Oh my god, Silver State. Thank you for the resub. Subway? We could do Subway. Well, crap, I think that's it for photos from these guys for now. We're gonna get some upgrades to these two. And we'll have a deep space telescope that we're gonna put up eventually. So now what I want to do, we have 1,666 meters a second. We have the delta V of the beast, plus 1,000. I think now we want to refuel this, fill it back up with monopropellant, maybe even use a drone to help it on its way out, and we want to transition this out around the moon to try and take photographs from that vantage point and get additional science from it. And then before that, actually, we can double up the number of science that we got if we take the photographs back home. And then we can get even more science off this damn thing from an orbit around Kerbin if we put up a science station and transfer those photographs into the station. So maybe before we move this out, we should put up our hotel and our first station. And I kind of want them to both be the same thing. I want them to be one structure. Then we can refuel it with monopropellant from there and kick it out to the moon. And then we'll send a monopropellant refueling drone out to the moon for it to dock to transition over to the other moon. And then we'll have it head back to an orbit around Kerbin to meet up with the station and hand in all those pictures for additional science. Yeah, so I think it's time for us to work on the station. Before I do that, though, I want to get a Hubble. I want to get another telescope up. A different type of telescope that's far more sensitive. It's extremely difficult for us to take photographs of anything anywhere near the sun because we do have to protect the lens that's on the front of it. It will be destroyed if we go and point it directly at the sun. So let's go back down to the Space Center. We'll start working on it. I think we've got all of its default parts unlocked. But on top of that, since we have mandatory RCS, we do need to have monopropellant. We are going to want it to have a docking port. We're also going to be able, going to want to be able to either send a drone up to it or a crewed vessel to grab the photographs off of it. Didn't end up with a whole lot of science off of those last two since we only had 2 planets and 1 moon. We should get a humongous boost to our science with this other telescope, though. And then this telescope's a little bit different. This one has integrated lenses. So, what do we want to use for a probe core? I think I can change the color of the SSTU probe core. And if I can make it match the rest of it, then let's go black. Let's see how that works. We use the probe core, then we've got a little bay that goes onto the bottom of it, which I'm hoping has been unlocked. I guess it's not in structural, it must be under payload. There she is. Do I want that in between the two of them? I don't know, maybe. We'll leave it there for now. I've just increased the diameter of it. We'll go down to science and grab the telescope itself. I'm gonna go ahead and reposition that. I'm gonna leave these in their default orientation, I think. Do I want to do that? No, I don't. I want that to stay how it is. I want this guy to point to the east. Because right now I think it's pointing south, so we would have to lean over to the side. So I think I just need to pivot that around to there. I want to throw it out on the pad real quick. This is going to be the cacti telescope version 1. I'm just putting it onto the pad real quick to double check that my orientation on the nav ball is correct. Hello, Asley. While you melt? Oh no, we were just talking about how freaking hot it is. Okay, so it's bass backwards, but otherwise perfect. Where I want to nose down onto the 90-degree mark. So all I gotta do is pick it up and flip it around. But I do want the bay pointed this way, I think. And I think I want the lens to open up the opposite direction. I think the probe core looks okay, but I'm gonna just change its diameter a little tiny bit. Just so that I can't see the bottom flat surface of it. I guess I could go for more of a gray as well. I think that looks just fine. Now, since we're not going to use the flight computer to target anything, I think that'll be okay, but I am kind of considering whether or not to put an additional probe core so that we can use the flight computer to do maneuvers. I think it's worth the hassle of the one extra part. I don't really know where to put the damn thing though, so maybe I'll put it on later. Turn it into a mosquito McDonald's. I got a bite at some point this morning too. I'm not happy about it. Had to choose between getting eaten and melting. Oh no. we've got a bunch of these, like, wristbands and spray stuff, but I never think about it until after I've been munched on. Okay, and I can't remember where the hell the antennas are on the Hubble. Hubble telescope. I really wish that this had more of a metallic look to it. So one high gain antenna on the top, one high gain antenna on the bottom. The aperture opens upward, and I can't really see where the service bay doors would be. This is kind of what we're building. It's not going to be exactly like it. We'll get it pretty close, though. Wouldn't that be great if we could give this a metallic sheen, though? That'd be so nice. Let's start out with the solar. If I can remember where the hell it is. There we go. And this mod actually does come with solar panels. These ones. But I don't know that they'll actually be powerful enough for what we want. They do look a little tiny. They generate 8 electric charge per second. So that might be good. Let's go ahead and retract them for now. Yeah, but we're gonna add, like, we're gonna have 2 probe cores. Actually, I think they'll be just fine, because we'll end up using a capacitor too. So, we'll see if they're good enough. And then I need to give this the ability to reposition with monopropellant as well. Let's go over to that, I guess, real quick. I don't have any dark colored nozzles. I guess these ones. These things are tiny enough that I could probably go with a set of 4. I was worried about this one interfering with the door here, but I don't think it will. And then we also need a mount for our lenses. And I believe that is in structural. Yes. And I was having a problem with this when I put it inside before. Hopefully that won't be a problem. Hello? I guess I can't put it on the back? What if I put my view inside? Why can't I attach you to the back of that? Could just leave them outside too. And inside of the mount, I think we only have 1 set of lenses unlocked right now. We'll go for the wide field camera. Oh, we do have 2 of them. So we'll go for the wide field camera version 2. And I'm only going to load it up with 1. Then if I pop that one, we're going to need an engineer up there to install the replacement. So he might as well bring up the replacement lenses too. Yeah, I thought that we only had the wide field number 1. We would have had the wide field and the asteroid camera, but this is the one that we want for this telescope. Yeah, we totally could. We could throw them both on there. Have it track asteroids after we're done using it for photos. Very true. Now ours is going to be a little bit different from the real life one. I'm trying to think if I need experiment storage units. I don't think so. Ours is going to have a docking port on the back of it because it's such a fucking nightmare to match speeds perfectly without docking to something in this game. And then I also think I'm going to give it the ability to maneuver, because it does need a monopropellant tank. Man, that opens up a lot of options. Oh, it's a little bit too big though. Damn. We have other iterations of it. That carries 80 monopropellant. Unfortunately, I can't make it monopropellant only, so I might not actually go with it. Because I think I just want to stick with monoprop. Damn, and I can't change the color of that either? What a bummer. So I'm not gonna use it. Yeah, because we can do monopropellant in an SSTU tank. I can find it. There. It's at the very bottom, where it is all the time. Nice. And that holds... Oh, it's on liquid fuel right now. If I switch it over to monopropellant... Damn, that holds 1,000 monoprop? Very nice. We're also going to go to a lower diameter. And I'm thinking the docking port will just be a radial docking port over on the side here. I want to go to the lower diameter so that we can attach an engine to it. And I want to start out with the just the orbital maneuvering engine that we've been using on almost everything. We've got that one. This is the one that we've been using on everything though. That'll give us a non-atmospheric thrust-to-weight ratio of 0.84, which really doesn't matter. It's more total DV and burn time. So 1,446 DV, 2-minute 20-second burn time. 22-minute burn time for an additional 200 DV. Get the fuck out of here. Roughly the same DV, but a longer burn time. So that's not really all that helpful. I was kind of hoping to come up with something... We have a lot of other options too, but our target here, I kind of want something with a little over 2,000 DV. That would be enough if it were fully fueled to transition out to the moons and do a capture burn before it needed refueled again. So 2 minutes isn't terrible. That's about 2,000 DV. 3 minute 46 seconds is not bad. 3,000 DV, but that's a little excessive. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Unless this thing finishes out its orbit, I don't think that's gonna work. We're at 24 tons. How much do you weigh without this? Oh my god. Just this itself is 9 tons. So this thing might have to finish out its own damn orbit. That looks fucking cool. It's a Delta 4 mount. Ooh, I kind of like that too. $2,200 DV with just over a 4-minute total burn time. I don't think these little guys are gonna do the trick anymore though. Sorry, little guys. Are you scalable? Shit, they're not. That would have been nice. Now these are only quad, so I'm gonna need 4 of them. They're a little bit bigger though. I don't know, just because of the things that are attached to that and the clearance that we need, like if I put that there. Is that gonna fly, you think? I was thinking that maybe I'd have to go with the 3-way nozzles off at a 45-degree angle. That might just be fine though. Just barely. Oh, I didn't realize those were offset nozzles. If I'm gonna have 4... See, these are kind of designed to be in the center of mass, and just 4 of them right at the center of mass. I can't change the look of you or anything, can I? I'd like to go with something that that kind of matches the color. That might do. That's even better though. Yeah, I think I like that way more. It is a 5-way nozzle. I could probably get away with just 2. That thing is fucking huge, though. I don't know, we could get rid of that, and we could turn this part into a drone that goes up, docks with it, and then moves it around after the fact. It'd be a little bit more difficult to balance out the monopropellant between the two, because this would have to have its own, own nozzles on the top and the bottom. I think this one would be fine with nozzles just on one side, just on the top or just on the bottom if we really wanted to go that way. Trying to figure out which would be the simpler solution. Ah, fuck it. Even though it's huge, I think I'm gonna try this first. It's just a large payload. 24 tons almost. 23.4 tons. And we're not even done adding stuff. Now we don't need the docking port to be crew passable, but I don't want it on this side because I don't want the docked vessel to have to be a certain shape as to not interfere with the cargo bay. So I think the docking port definitely needs to go back here. And so far I've been using the just regular Clampetron docking ports, but most of them have been internal, so it doesn't really matter what we go with on this, since we don't actually have any vessel currently created that's going to be able to come up and actually dock to this. We have to make one. Maybe cover our emblem with it. Interesting, I'd never looked at the new variants of it. All in all, they look largely the same though. It doesn't need to be insulated, it won't be crew passable, like I said. I might just go with a junior. Because if we use one of our little Mark 1 command pod like tourist vessels and give it the ability to dock to stuff, a junior will be able to will be a little bit easier to fit on that. Because we'll probably end up putting it on the bottom. Unless I have like a Mark 1 inline. I do. That's what we would use. Okay, so definitely want to go with the regular Clampetron docking port then. And then this will be integrated into the vessel. This is a crew passable docking port, but that doesn't really matter for us because the crew is just going to EVA from the ship that they go up in to perform the servicing and everything. So as long as we know what we're going to use for the other vessel, that'll be just fine. I think we'll build that part next. Kind of thinking about putting the solar panels lower down. And maybe going with some bigger ones, honestly, since we've already bastardized the build completely so far. Since it looks nothing like the real world Hubble that it's supposed to emulate. I wish I could remember off the top of my head what we were using on our other telescope. I think it's these, but I'm not positive. No, it's not those ones. That is a hell of a lot of solar, though. I think that's the one. So wherever I put the solar panels, I don't want the docking port right next to it. I want them above or below it. So I think I'm gonna relocate this guy up to here. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. Oh, Isley, are you still around? trying to think of where else to put everything, because we do need the 2 antenna. We'll probably build those off of the fuel tank. We're up to 14 entire parts here. Not doing too bad parts-wise. I think I'm gonna move these down, because now that I'm thinking about it, our vessel is going to have its docking port on its belly. So the whatever docks to this is going to be alongside of it. So I think I want that further down on the bottom there, so that the vessel can come in and dock to it with just the nose of it right here. Then we can, we would exit the vessel from this side to come to EVA around to install the next part. So I think that'll be fine. Let's also put some handrails on this thing. And I think we're gonna make it just a standard operating procedure from now on to bring handrails with us. If I can remember where the fuck they are. Especially on an engineering vessel, where every now and then we have to do like a team lift where we have to have a certain number of curveballs within range of an object to be able to move it together, depending on that object's mass. I could have swore that I had handrails unlocked, but I don't know where they are. Ah, utility. Okay. For some reason, it's having an issue with me putting stuff inside of it, so I'm just going to attach that set of handrails to the outside, and then I'm going to move them into the bay so that we have something to hold on to in there. Then, on top of that, power. I really wish I had an attachment point in here. I'm going to downsize it, but I'm using the way that it's clipping through to try and guesstimate center. Because I don't know of any real better way to do it, unfortunately. And I'm kind of okay with it being sunk down like that. Get it out of the way a little bit. I think I'm going to reposition all of this stuff upward just a little. Uh-oh. Maybe I won't be repositioning the handrails up a little bit. There we go. And then I want a little locker in there too. Actually, we can live without that. We don't need a locker. It's fine. I was gonna put a little locker in here for us to store additional lenses, but since there's gotta be somebody up there to actually do the work, there's not a whole lot of reason for us to store additional lenses. They can totally bring the lens up. Yeah, so I think we're fine. Alright, what am I forgetting here? Anything? Got power, we've got a couple of solar panels. Oh, does this probe core have any integrated reaction wheels? If not, then I need one. This is not probe cores at all. Pods. This is to you. Doesn't. So, even though we have mandatory RCS, it doesn't completely nerf them, and they do make it a hell of a lot easier for us to take photos. I don't want a very powerful one, though. I think that one's even too powerful. I think I want to go with these little guys. How odd. It has no problem with me taking the small radio gyroscope and putting it wherever the hell I want inside of here. But all of those other pieces, it acted like it wasn't possible for me to click the inside of it. Really weird. Trying to decide how many I want to go with. Because I was thinking 2, but I don't really know how to center them. I guess we'll do it the same way that we did all the rest of them. We'll do 2 of them in symmetry out here. Move on in there. Alright, I really can't think of anything else that this thing needs. So if you guys can't think of anything either, I think we're good to go. I wonder if those are low enough for me to move this down right into the center of that. Because what I'm kind of thinking, since that's a crew passable radial docking port, or a crew passable inline docking port, we'll probably have the Mark 1 cockpit, then the docking port, and then a Mark 2 in case we needed to bring more crew. Because I think what we'll end up doing is probably bringing up an engineer and a pilot, so at least 2 people. So I think we would have enough room. We could check. Let's look here. So we're talking a Mark 1 cockpit. Then we're talking a docking port. I think it'll be fine. The vessel does need to be fairly flat, though, for that kind of a thing, unless we decide to say fuck it and go with just a different kind of command pod. Because we do have a hell of a lot of options. Like, we could also do a nose-mounted docking port on this type of pod. Looks like that pod's a little bit too small for what I want, though. That's a 2 crew. And then that one should be about the same. Something like that. Even that, though, I don't think it would interfere with the solar panels, so I think location-wise, we're good to go with the docking port. Plus, it would have a little bit of a standoff, I think. Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure that you would want to put a docking port in there. Or maybe, actually, that really looks like it's designed for a parachute, doesn't it? Like a Mark 16 or a Mark 24 inline parachute. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna have to either wait until we get the Mark III, where this will fit right on the nose, no problem. Well, the Salamander actually would work. And that is a 2-man pod. I think somebody had said that those are compatible with the SSTU docking ports too. Must not be that one. Trying to find one that I like, but I don't really like any of these that we're looking at so far. Well, screw it. Okay, so let's save that. Let's go new. If we do go with the Mark I and a Mark II crew pod, yeah, I think that'll be the way to go. Utility, Mark II. Actually, there's no real reason for me to fuck with that, because we do have a 2-passenger tourist vessel that's already made to go up into a low orbit, and the only thing that that guy's missing is the docking port. Oh yeah, Godly. Are you still playing a lot of Elite Dangerous? Isn't Elite the one that you played a lot of? Still loving KSP. It's kind of crazy, because it's one of those games that I just want to play all the time, but there's so many other games that I want to play too, you know? Oh, I'm in the wrong fucking tab. I wonder I can't find it. Coupling? And that is a fairly low profile vessel. So all we really need to do with this is balance it out so that it'll actually be good at docking, because right now the monopropellant nozzles are positioned in a way so that it's so that it can safely separate from the maneuvering portion down here, but that's about it. So I want to balance those out really well, but otherwise this should work just fine. Why the hell? Oh, I see what I did. When I disconnected this, it repositioned everything. I was like, why are my boosters so, like, out of alignment? There's no way I built it that way. Got bored of Elite? Aw. Kinda pissed you off with the recent updates? Well, that sucks, man. World of Warships? I need you to stream some World of Warships for me. I know that Matrim plays it too, but I have not been lucky enough to catch any of his World of Warships streams. I was a huge fan of World of Tanks, played the shit out of that game in beta, and I did kind of lose my interest in it when it fully released and they wiped the beta. We knew that the wipe was coming, like, it's not like they sprung it on us or anything. But I had like level 10 everything. And it's such a fucking grind to get back up to it that I've gone back to the game a couple of times. But I also tried World of Warplanes when that first released, like when it first came to closed alpha, and I liked that one, played the hell out of it. Found that War Thunder was more fun for me. I liked War Thunder a little bit more, so I left World of Warplanes and played a lot of War Thunder. Then they came out with a humongous update for it, and I had taken a little bit of time away from it, and I couldn't figure out how to play it again. So that was kind of disappointing. Awful team. Yeah, matchmaker's still kind of a bitch. Good old matchmaker. Alright, so with this thing, I want to disconnect it from here. Oop. Yeah, matchmaker notoriously terrible in those games. Quit World of Tanks almost 2 years ago. I was gonna check the last time that I logged in on Steam, but I don't think I have it on Steam. Yeah, I don't have it on Steam. I know that there was some stuff. Oh, that was World of Warplanes, isn't it? Or no, that was War Thunder. It was totally War Thunder. No? It had to have been War Thunder. Or maybe they give you a code? Because one of them I bought shit on Steam for it to get like premium stuff. Yeah, I think it was War Thunder because I'm pretty sure I got, but why am I not finding it in here? How weird. Did I not just look for war? And it said no? Maybe I had a space in there. Maybe I thought it was war. Or maybe I didn't have a space. Maybe I thought it was all one word. Because I did buy some of these little things. And then I think I was actually gifted one too. How do you look at your inventory? Just cons. Because I thought that I had one that I hadn't activated yet, because it gives you premium for a little while. And I wasn't playing it at the time when I got it. Jesus, card loving hell. Okay, maybe not. I'm looking at all items, so I think it should have been up there with the games. Ah, there we go. War Thunder 8th Advance Pack. I thought I had 2 of them, though. Huh. But I think when I add that to my library, it'll start up some premium time, so I need to get back into the game before I actually use it. I sold a couple of cards, but I don't know. It's not enough money to make it worth the hassle. It's like that shit that's worth 10 copper in World of Warcraft or whatever, you know? Like, eh. I hang on to them because when I do get enough booster packs and open them up for the right games, I can have more friends on Steam. As you level up your Steam profile, you get access to more friend slots. Before that, I used to just give them away, but they did end up being kind of handy. And I think I don't remember how much I spent. I ended up going and buying a bunch of stuff off of the marketplace. I think I spent like $8 whole or something like that just to level up my freaking Steam profile so that I could add more friends. Why the fuck? Are you trolling me? I feel like I'm being trolled. There we go. That'll work. Can I move you without you messing up? Fuck no, I can't. I hate you. I need to just start building stuff in the space plane hangar again, where symmetry makes sense. Yeah, so I got like $8 in Steam bucks or whatever, and just bought like the dumbest fucking cards. Stuff that was like 1 penny. Whole sets that were a penny. Just to level up. Cause, oh god. Okay. Twitch chat used to be a lot worse than it is nowadays. It was quite frequently not working. So, back in the battle days, we used to use Steam chat more than we would use Twitch chat. Oh, damn it. Wrong symmetry. There. I don't know where the hell I'm going to put these, actually. They kind of have to go back here, but this particular block is not going to work for that because the base of the block isn't quite big enough. Maybe it is just barely big enough. See how it's clipping that little part of the nozzle? That's what's bugging me. But I also don't want it to, you know, not be connected to it. It's like just barely big enough. That block just needs to be a little bit longer. There. Alright, let's see if we can balance it. Uh-oh. Are these angled or something? Why the fuck is that off? Alright, so screw these then. If they're gonna be a pain in the butt, we'll just get rid of them and we'll go with the good old 4 or 5-way nozzles. Summer sale is great to cheese your account level. Oh, really? I usually do pick up a couple of things, but I've never actually leveled up during one, I don't think. What the hell happened to my mouse? Oh god, everything's falling apart. Feels like my mouse is moving all slow now. Just to up my DPI a little bit. Trying to move them in as far as I can without having the tank underneath clip through. I'm gonna see how they'll look if I kind of tuck them away a little bit. I think that'll work just fine for those. But I wonder if I wouldn't be more stable if I do just say fuck it and go with a set of 4-way nozzles. I just like the look of the linear nozzles. Oh, crap. Rip? Okay, so not gonna go with those. I have to go with a 5-way nozzle. And because I only have enough room for 2. And it's pretty well got to go right there. 3 is more than 2. 20,000 tokens? Oh my god. You're up to level 72 on Steam? I don't know what I am. 30? 40? Or something like that? I don't know. Every level only adds like 5 friends, so I quickly lost interest. But it was getting annoying to try and clear out my friends list to be able to add more. So at first it seemed like it was worth it. Okay, let's see if we can balance this out with just 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom, but 5-way nozzles rather than the 3-way. Oh, and I wonder if it's calculating these. I'm just gonna pull those out of there and pull them off for now. I don't know, seems like I'm boned. Frick. Pain in the ass. If all goes well, you'll make $10. Yeah, but it takes so freaking long to post it all. Earn points to boost a team. And the Burstium tokens with which you can boost your level. Oh, when they do like the races. I think for this summer sale, I'm on like Team Fox or something like that. Yeah. Okay. Well, it was worth a shot. I gotta go with 5 then. Or I gotta go with 4. It's just gonna have to happen. Wonder if I can fit them in here. No, I can't because I have batteries, but I can swap out the batteries. We'll update those to capacitors. I don't even think we need 2, but may as well have them. This doesn't have solar panels yet either, and that's something that we will need for this particular vessel. Just because we have no idea how far we're going to have to go with it. This thing may need to go all the way up to the Mun or to Minmus, and then we'll change the stage down here to make it a thing. So we put those guys up there. Still nothing. Okay. So I am gonna have to go with linear somewhere up on the top to augment the power of those. There's an exploit with Starbound. Most of it was from your gem bags? Oh, nice. Where you drink soda and you get points, but you can mod the game to get more soda? Oh god. And just scheme it for Steam points? That's kind of funny. I'm really fucking confused here on why these won't balance out. What have I done? These are enabled, these are enabled. I added the additional ports. Oh, and I put them on at the wrong angle. Aha! Aw, damn it. Just wondered if I could put these on the nose somehow. Nah, it's not gonna work. Shit, what do I do? I'm gonna have the same problem with those. They're gonna be in the way of the view. Oh. Oh, okay. I know what the hell's going on. I'm an idiot. I have all of my parachutes on the same side of the vessel. So the vessel is heavier on the top part of it than it is on the bottom. I'm a fucking dumbass. A derp. Okay, you know what? Fuck you, editor. Eek. The only problem that I have with this, and the reason that I wasn't doing it, is the camera controls are different. I need to figure them out. Somebody had mentioned a mod that lets you use WASD to move around. To move the camera around in the bed. And that sounds really freaking handy right now. Now why am I still having the same problem? Oh, okay, there we go. Now it's working right. All I needed was for these to be attached in... No, it isn't working right. So what if I flip you on your side? Then will it work right? Fuck you. What a goddamn nightmare. But the problem is... when I click on those to reposition them, because these need to be moved up, I'm gonna have to turn this on its side every time I do it. What the hell is going on with this thing? I wonder if I should just rebuild this part of it in here. Oh, nice. You gonna do a real solar system play? So now when I click on these... Yeah, as soon as I move it, it puts them back. Oh, I'm gonna rage. This is me raging. Grr. Really pisses me off that I have to start over on it. I just don't understand why. Now that I have a new one, I expect for symmetry to work just fine. You have delay on messages? Uh-oh. I always have a little bit of stream delay. but it does allow for higher quality content. Like, it makes it look better, which is why I haven't gone lossless. Yeah, see, now I can totally move them the way that I wanted to. Okay, fuck it. It's a fairly simple vessel. We'll just attach those the way that they are for now. We need the Mark II crew cab. And I think we might be able to merge the rest of the parts in, actually. Hello? Please merge? Okay, cool. It's working! It's working! So, what a fucking pain in the ass, though. I might be okay with just the two now that I realized what I was messing up. That's literally all I needed to do, is attach these and move them upward a little bit. Let's check the other modes, though. Yeah, I'll have to get rid of these and match them. Otherwise, we're going to be way more powerful on the front part of this, where it weighs, like, basically nothing compared to a tank of fuel. Get them pretty close. Oh, that would actually work. But I do need to match these up. Oh, I'm missing a set of parachutes. That'll be a problem. Because these will both need to go up a little bit further. And no landing gear or anything on this. We actually use the service bay when it's opened up. We use that for kind of a kickstand. It just keeps us from being able to roll down hills. I'm going to grab these guys and get rid of them completely. I also need to throw those capacitors back in there. But that's all pretty easy stuff. This will just go with one, since we're now going to have nozzles in there. That'll be fine. Don't need the battery anymore. I was also going to add solar panels to this, because we don't know how long it'll actually be up there. Oh, it's such a pain in the ass. I really enjoy designing space shuttles that don't look anything like real-world space shuttles. They look more like sci-fi shuttles. So take like any of the cool-looking planes from OPT and take the wings off. And usually that's the way that I go. And that'll get you pretty fucking good at balancing out monopropellant nozzles. Because it's a pain in the butt. I didn't have anywhere near as firm a grasp on it until I started trying to fiddle around with those. Okay, so according to this, we do have enough parachutes for everything. Let's go ahead and tuck these behind the solar panels. These will go all the way down to the end of the vessel. But I want to balance them. I want to match them up with these front ones. I just need to make sure that I have everything attached that I'm going to add to this damn thing before I try to balance it out. Otherwise, we're making minor adjustments forever. So I'm going to move the lighting to the bottom and totally fuck up putting it at a 45 degree. That's a 45. Then we're looking good on parachutes, so, and this ought to be enough solar, I think. Shouldn't really matter that we don't have any on this top part because this part has the capacitors. Yeah, I can't think of anything else to add, so let's go ahead and work on the RCS. Stage recovery can go off. RCS build aid I want to turn back on. I can't remember if these were already up higher or if that's the default spot for them to go to, and mirrored symmetry off at a 90-degree angle. Okay, yeah, these are up a little bit higher. Oh shit, I already messed up just a little bit here. These guys actually have to attach down below the decoupler, otherwise they'll, if I attach them here, and then I move them down to the end of the vessel, they'll stay here, connected by nothing, when I actually decouple. Well, Deb must be home. I hear the dog going nuts. I can't believe I just did that again. There. And it's not really absolutely necessary to eyeball them, because you'll use the thrust limiter to actually balance them out, but it does kind of help. Sometimes all you have to do is put them in the right location to balance it out. So like if I had something to attach them to way the hell down here, that's balanced. But since I don't, they'll have to go on the end here. And then we'll use the limiter to balance them. So we'll increase or decrease thrust as needed. Okay, so we're a little off balance that way. Those two are just fine. So since we're having a problem when we pitch, or when we translate the entire vessel down, and since we used a thrust limiter on these, we know that these just aren't quite powerful enough to be able to keep us in line there, so that's where we bring in the linear. And we just use those to augment the power and balance it all out. And I kind of want these weakling ones. And I'm going to see if those are enough, and if not, we'll go with a larger size. They totally are. And they can just go, hopefully, on the top of this, and not past the decoupler. Oh, they have to go on the front. They have to go right here. Okay. So I do need to pick those back up then, because I can't attach them to, can't attach them to this side of the decoupler without bad shit happening when I stage them. And the mod that we're using, the aid that we're using here, is called RCS Build Aid. One of the handiest of Linux Guru Gamers mods. Okay, so we are totally and perfectly balanced while we're attached to this. It'll be a little bit different when we detach from it, but that's fine, because by the time we detach from this, all we have to do is hold retrograde. So it really doesn't matter all that much. Hey, baby.
Hey.
Sweet. Now, I may have to do the fairing over again. I'm not really sure. Why is that detached from the rest of that? You son of a... That part's definitely easier in the vehicle assembly bay, but oh well. This part isn't. Like, there's so many upsides between the two different view modes. And so many downsides as well. Okay, and we do have to rebuild our fairing, because it disappeared on me. I want that to cover up as many of these fiddly bits as I can. Oh my god, I didn't notice that the opposite side was covering the door. Son of a fucking plum ass bitch. That this should be a mod? Oh yeah. Another one that's really handy that I don't really use anymore, because now I just rely on symmetry much more often than installing independent parts and trying to make them match, because there's just no way to get them perfectly on. But there is one that puts a grid all through the VAB, and then you can position your ship so that you can more accurately duplicate parts even without symmetry, or duplicate the location of parts even without symmetry. These have to go further back. I fucked up. I think right there. Because otherwise it has to be on front of the little docking port. And that will throw off the balance a little bit. But I don't really want to take it apart again. Yeah, fuck it, we'll do it. It'll only take a second. Is that one on an angle? What the hell is going on there? Oh, okay, so there is a little bit of an angle to the nozzles there. Pain in the ass. That's okay. We'll just throw another set of 2 in mirrored symmetry on the sides, and we'll use those to augment that. Well, I thought we would. Frack. Okay, yeah, that'll work. I just had to rotate them around a little bit so that they'd stop doing what they're doing. Perfect. That was super weird though. I don't know why this one wanted to burst out to the side, or backward, while it bursted out to the side. That doesn't make any sense. Oh well, fuck it. At least we fixed it, right? So, this guy goes back on here, edit our fairing one last time, hopefully. I have to build it fresh, pain in the ass. I can't do this in here, I don't think. I've never built a fairing in the spaceplane hangar. Oh, maybe I can. Shit. Why are these nozzles not clipping through, but these ones are, I wonder? It's enough of a struggle. All right. Are we finally in business? I think we might be. Not covering the door, covering up all of our nozzles. Didn't notice that that fucking thing is clipping into that a little bit, but at this point, don't care. I'll definitely end up fixing it later. Who are we kidding? For now, though, I'm gonna leave it. And these parachutes are off again. I picked these up and oh, right, I had to load up the actual pre-built one that we put together the other day. Oh, I just put them on at an angle again. Come here, you little fucker. There. Alright. So now we have a vessel that is equipped to hopefully be able to dock to shit. But only in a low orbit. It will need more of a propulsion. We do have to swap up the bottom part, the back part here, if we wanted these fellas to be able to head out to the moon. But more than likely, if we were going to do that, because of the travel time to go to the moon in JNSQ, we would probably have to use a different kind of vessel anyway. So this is just something super simple, very cheap for us to go up and service pretty much anything that we only need a couple crewmen for, that has a regular Clampetron docking port. So I think I'll do a test flight on that whenever we actually need it. We've saved that as the 3 crew orbital, since it won't be a passenger ship, because there's no reason for us to bring 3 people up and dock them to something. We're gonna bring everybody that needs to go up and dock to like the space hotel or the research lab or any of that we're going to bring them up in much larger vessels. So this is just for a pilot and an engineer to go up and do something right quick. So I think we're good to go. Tomorrow morning we'll work on the cacti telescope a little bit more. I want to get that. You have tomorrow off? Oh yeah, tomorrow's Monday. I'm a streamer, I don't know what day it is. So I guess, I don't know, maybe on my own time I might work on it, and then we'll launch it together on Wednesday? Yeah? Wednesday?
Yeah.
And then Thursday you're off, right? Okay, I knew that. I knew that part, I just didn't realize today was Sunday. Actually, I did realize today was Sunday, and then I immediately forgot it. That was one of the first things I said today. Is, hey, look, it's Sunday. The struggle. But this is good to go, I think. I don't think that we added enough weight by putting in that docking port that we need to oversize the heat shield or add any additional reaction wheels or anything like that. We probably do need to swap the service bay with the reaction wheel because this has a higher heat tolerance than this does. But I just can't be asked right now. I'm done. I'm dropping the mic. I'm walking out of here. A fucking symmetry issue triggered the shit out of me. I'm over it. So we're all saved. Let's go ahead and leave. And I'm gonna find somebody to throw a host to. Actually, I think I'll let auto host take care of it because I have to go to the bathroom really bad, and I don't even have time to log out of the game. So I'm out of here, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Sorry about the connection issues earlier today, and I will see you guys on Wednesday. But not on Thursday, just on Wednesday. Bye, guys. You too, Paula.
Bye, Paula.